Don't you just love a good story? The kind of story that you might tell when you're gathered around a campfire with friends or collapsed on the couch. The kind that has you like cringing or laughing or just nodding along because you can relate so much. Stories are this living magical part of how we connect and share our lives with others. When I studied for my master's in speech and language therapy, stories were presented as this rather dry, analytical aspect of communication. We would kind of pull apart the different aspects of it to analyze and quantify and judge a child's development according to which parts of narrative structure they had presented in that particular time and moment of assessment with us. Which feels strange to me now, kind of reductive. Sure, we can talk about sentence structure and teaching children different narrative elements, and I've done plenty of that myself. I'll link some of those videos around here. But also stories are so much more than the nuts and bolts of it. Stories are how we understand the lives we're living and how we relate to each other. And that's true whether you're 3 or 93. It's not just about how we tell stories. It's the stories we choose to tell. And when it comes to helping children, we need better stories. We need stories that celebrate rather than criticize. Stories that offer hope and support and belief in any human's ability to develop, blossom and flourish over time. I had a mum say to me recently that she felt like her child was already failing. At age 2, the child had had her 2-year check, and the mum described to me how the child was all in the red zone. So we've somehow ended up with an early intervention service that quantifies a problem rather than providing wholehearted, compassionate support. Now I work in early years and I can appreciate the value of identifying a need and providing support early on. In fact, I see the power and I love the opportunity to support a family of a child age 2 or 3 rather than for them to wait and contact me when the child's 5 or 6. So I love early support, but it can't just be about identifying a problem. It can't just be about creating a story of need and failure. Because that's not how we progress as humans. If your child is struggling to communicate or struggling in any other part of their development, you don't just need the story of how they're failing. You need the story of how they're going to grow. There's no denying that a child's journey may be filled with challenges and adjusted expectations and differences from the norm, whatever that is. And it can also be a journey of delight and joy and celebration. The words that we use matter. And as professionals, we have a choice about how we talk with families, how we describe their child, how we paint the picture of what we're working on together. I heard from another parent recently who was told by her Senko, "You're not going to like this, but your child is showing signs of autism." What a gut punch for that to be maybe your first talk, your first conversation about autism, that this is something you can't like, that this is a problem, that there's symptoms. And I mean, maybe that's a conversation for a whole other video. But we don't have to present things like that. We can still talk about difference, talk about maybe a child needing extra help or some adjustments without it being this thing that you as a parent are going to be unhappy about and presenting it with all of this weight and heaviness. We can tell hopeful and even positive stories about a child that are still real and helpful for their development. It's not about making up fairy tales and saying blithely, "It's fine, don't worry about it, it'll all work out in the end." It's about stories that notice details, that pay close and loving attention to the child in front of us, that describe the child not by broad diagnostic labels, but by the everyday fleeting moments, the things we see that build connection and communication. When we focus on the details, we have so much to build on. we notice and value the things a child is doing and respond in a way that supports their growth. This changes the story from your child is failing, it's probably your fault, let me tell you why, to one that says your child is marvelous and you're the best person to support them and you're already doing so well, and let's figure out what's next together. As a speech and language therapist in the early years, a lot of my work involves coaching parents and caregivers through my Toddler Talk program. And yes, we look at child development within that, and we talk through specific strategies and information to support them. And also we focus on and value what a child's doing, what is working, what feels good between the parent and the child in their everyday play or activities together. Build on that, build more connection and communication. When we change the story from failure to hope, we're in a better position to learn and grow. And that's regardless of child development. That's human development. If you're interested in how we can support children's communication from a place of strength and celebration, then do sign up for my newsletter. You'll have access to my free mini workshop, and you'll be the first to know of upcoming dates for my Toddler Talk program for parents and my live workshops for practitioners. And if you think there's space for us to tell more positive stories about children with communication needs, then maybe give this a thumbs up and share with someone. And together, let's start telling better stories. Meanwhile, much love to you. Thank you for being here. And remember, every tiny step we take together is a step in the right direction. So till next time.